Today on the show, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, plus comedian Josh Comers and Ronnie Adrian. It's the Novelizers.
Don't want your popcorn, don't want your milk duds, don't want my shoes stuck in pools of sticky cola. Don't show me romance, don't show me fist fights, just show me words printed out under the book lights. Yeah, baby, novelize the movie. Give me sentences, paragraphs, and nothing to see. Yeah, novelize the movie. Write a book and turn it into a podcast.
Welcome to the Novelizers. I'm Christine Bullen, here with my co-hosts Stephen Levinson and Kevin Carter. When historians look back on this stage of human history, how will they define this era? As the moment AI arose? As the time when humanity finally united to stop climate change? I like to think they'll remember this time as the moment a comedy writer novelized a scene from The Matrix and then somehow got Triumph the Insult Comic Dog to narrate it, which is exactly what you're going to hear on our podcast today.
You know, I hate asking for money. So this week, instead of asking, I'm going to sing it. That's right. I wrote a little song and it goes something like this.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, please, no.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, this podcast costs us a lot of money. There's studio costs, production costs, mostly just those things, but we can't do it without you. So go to thenovelizers.com, click on our Patreon, and pitch in $5 a month. That's just $1.25 an episode for this amazing show. That's literally cheaper than anything else you can buy on planet Earth. Thank you.
Listen to Stephen, and thank you for not singing it, Stephen. And now, here's a chapter of The Matrix, novelized by comedian and writer Josh Comers and narrated by Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. Triumph, novelize us.
Hello, it's your old pal Triumph, here on the podcast that finally, definitively answers the question, are there too many podcasts? You see, I kid. No, it's a great podcast. I hear it's number one among people who are trapped under debris from a mudslide and can't reach their phone. Okay, I kid. Again, what I was doing there was kidding. Now, honestly, I am so thrilled to be on this show, but believe it or not, they almost didn't get me. You see, what happened is, I played hardball. I told them this. I said, I would do it on one condition. They mustn't pay me well. And you know what happened? Not only did they meet my condition, they took it a step further by not paying me at all. Seriously, this is Greg Fitzsimmons money I'm getting. I'll wait while you go ahead and Google Greg Fitzsimmons. Okay. You see, because he sucks. All right. Okay, so you know how the show works, because every episode opens with a 20-minute explanation about how the show works. Seriously, it takes less time to explain Bitcoin. Also, I don't know what happened to Andy. Andy Richter used to give the explanation. I mean, I guess they found someone new to phone it in. You see, because Andy gave it his what's the opposite of all? Andy gave it his nothing. Andy always put in 0 and 10%. God bless him, like he has shit to do. Anyway, it's not important that I get the Navel Gazers podcast. It's about you, the audience, that elusive demo of people who watch movies and think, I can't wait for the book. Okay, I'm making a lot of jokes here, and I know what you're thinking. Triumph, it's too early to break the fourth wall. You haven't even told us what happens in the 25-year-old movie as seen through the lens of an out-of-work comedy writer. Listen, we'll get to that, all right? What's the rush? If you're listening to this podcast, there's a pretty good chance you've got nowhere to be. But Triumph, I have lots of places to be, like my unpaid internship at the local improv theater, where I creep out all the female performers with my beard dandruff, and where I sniff the seats after closing time. I think I've made my point. But seriously, I kid the comedy nerds. And by the way, my CD, Come Poop With Me, is still available on Amazon. And that's the closest this podcast will ever come to having a sponsor. Okay, enough shitting on the podcast. I'll leave that to the reviewers, you see, because it's terrible. Okay, it's time to start doing what they're not paying me to do. Okay, here we go. Scene from The Matrix. High up in one of those glistening office towers. Wait, one more thing. Sorry. Fuck this podcast for making me do a Keanu Reeves movie. That's not the one where he shoots up 800 people because someone killed his dog. You know, I briefly dated the Beagle from that movie. I'm not surprised she got the part, considering how good she was at laying down and playing dead. If you know what I mean, I fucked her. Okay, now I can start. I will now novelize the scene. High up in one of those glistening office towers that nobody works in anymore, a handcuffed Lawrence Fishburne is taking a beating from 3 white dudes who are completely unaware of how poorly the dynamics of this scene will age. But Lawrence is tough. He's not giving them what they want, no matter how much exposition they throw at him. But then, the main asshole starts going on about how flawed and imperfect the first Matrix was. It took everything in Fishburne's power to not shout, "Wait till you see the 4th one." Meanwhile, somewhere else, another Lawrence Fishburne is lying unconscious in a dentist's chair. That's 2 Fishburnes if you're counting. Standing over Fishburne number 2 is some jacked up ex-Chippendale. We'll call him Muscles. And some sexy young lady with the smoothest skin you've ever seen. Oh wait, that's Keanu Reeves. Okay, so Muscles tells Keanu and Trinity, the other sexy lady, that they have to kill Fishburne, number 2, to save the world. This upsets Keanu so much, he almost cries like a little bitch. Relax, I'm allowed to say it. Luckily, Keanu mans up and stops Muscles from killing Fishburne 2 and announces he's going to go save Fishburne 1. They tell him he's crazy. They tell him he's mad. He tells them a nice oracle gave him a cookie, and that seemed to be enough for them. Okay, that's basically the scene in a nutshell. For more, I don't know, watch the fucking movie? How about that? Thank you to the Novelizers for making people think I'll do any crappy podcast I'm asked to do. Hi, kid, I had fun. From the heart, I will tell you, this is actually one of the best and finest podcasts. For me to poop on! You see, that's what I always say when I imply something positive. I turn it around. Why don't we do a Novelizers about that catchphrase? That would be more interesting.
Thanks, Triumph. Good doggy. Of course, every week on the show, we interview someone who worked on the actual film The Matrix. Kevin, let's hear that interview.
How's it going, everybody? This is Kevin Carter here with another interview portion of the Novelizers. I am here today with Ronnie Adrian, who was the spoon handler for the movie The Matrix. Ronnie, how's it going today?
I'm good, Kevin. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, man. So let's get right into it. The hell is a spoon handler?
If I had money for any time somebody asked me that, I'd have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You know, as the saying goes. But yes, for The Matrix, a lot of people, obviously one of the classic scenes in the movie where, Neo is in the Oracle's house and he comes in contact with one of the children in that room and he's bending the spoon. I was the person in charge of making sure that we had the right spoons for the film.
So I'm assuming those spoons were fake, right?
No. They were real spoons. Like, yeah, there's some movie magic when it comes to the bending of the spoons, but the actual presentation aspect of the spoons, like the spoons, what they looked like beforehand, I was the person in charge of making sure that we had the right spoons. You know, everything in The Matrix is about having the right thing. And if you have the wrong spoon, it can undercut the film entirely.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask the obvious question in the room. What does a wrong spoon look like?
Well, it just depends. It's like you can't have a spoon that doesn't convey the message you're trying to convey with the spoon. Like, for example, I worked on a lot of 90s films. Most of the time it was, oh, cool, we need spoons for this scene when the kids are eating cereal before the parents come down or something like this. And people would kind of go like, yeah, you just grab some spoon or whatever. But it's like, no. No. You can't just grab any spoon for anything. So depending on the script, depending on the type of movie, that would allow for me to understand the type of spoon that scene needed. Okay, did I need a bigger spoon, a smaller spoon? Oh, a spoon that has a little bit more character, a spoon that's a little bit more in the background, so you don't really notice the spoon, but you know a spoon is there. It's a lot of science that goes into it.
Yeah, I can see the science that goes. Well, I hear you talk about the science that goes into it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. So I understand your job when it comes to, being very specific. Like, it has to be the right spoon, the right spoon, the right spoon. Mm-hmm. Are you that way outside of work? Like, do you care about spoons like that outside of work as well?
I try to take work home with me, Kevin. So most of the time, I honestly, my personal life, I go big spoon all the way. Okay,
yeah. Because I guess if I was in a position like you, I wouldn't even... Like, I would get tired of spoons, like I would just eat cereal with a fork because I would be afraid of spoons. I don't want to see them anymore.
Yeah, spoons aren't anything to be afraid of. They aren't anything to be afraid of for sure. Some spoons, can be different. And if you get the wide spoon and you got a small mouth, obviously it could, cut the sides of your mouth or something. So I guess there's a little bit of something to worry about. But at the same time, spoons are harmless, really, if you know what you're doing.
So when did you realize that spoons was going to be your ticket in?
Well, it started in the 80s. I started in films in the 80s, and I don't know if you're familiar with the sort of drug movies of the 80s, but a lot of times when they were depicting things, there was times where there were heroin scenes where you would, famously, I know people don't do drugs like this anymore, not to my knowledge, but back then in the 80s, a lot of times what would happen is people would take spoons and they put the drugs on the spoons, and then they would light the spoon to sort of melt the drugs, and the drugs would go into a syringe, etc., etc. For better or worse, they were just, ghetto drug films or, crackhead films, that type of thing.
Yep.
A lot of those times were very just generic spoons. But one day I grabbed a spoon that didn't necessarily fit the mold, but the director liked it so much that he said that I was now in charge of spoons. And then therefore my legend just kind of grew.
Oh, the legend. Okay, I like that. So you're the go-to guy when it comes to that.
Yeah, I definitely was the go-to guy back then, for sure. Spoons aren't used as much in film as they used to be, but back then, it was definitely a spoon boom for sure.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned something about movie magic when it comes to the spoon scene with the kid and he's bending the spoon with his mind and everything like that.
Right.
I understand the magic of actually showing the spoon bend without somebody touching it, right? But is it safe to say that, like, even after, like, when Neo cut, that spoon was actually bent?
Yeah, like if you noticed in the film, when Neo walks up on the kid already has a bunch of spoons bent in front of him before he takes the other one and bend. Yeah, so we had to bend actual spoons. And that was definitely a process of weakening the spoons first to be able to sort of bend them in the way that you want. Mm-hmm. Because then the actual spoon that the kid holding has to convey strength. This is a strong spoon. This spoon just can't be bent by anybody's mind, right? And if you didn't get that right spoon, like let's say if you got a puny spoon for that scene, totally undercuts the film and no one's talking about it because all they can talk about was being like, hey, you remember that puny spoon in that movie? Like, remember when Neo had to bend that puny spoon? I could have did that spoon. Everyone thinks that they can do it. They don't understand and then they lose the message. So you have to get a spoon that keeps people in the reality.
Okay. So, and by no means am I here to, disrespect your profession.
Okay.
But I guess on my end as a viewer, as a consumer person just watching the film, I highly doubt that I would have ever in a million years say the words, "Look at that puny spoon."
Kevin, and that's what I like to hear. Mm-hmm. I like to hear stuff like this because it lets me know that I did my job. If you feel so strongly that you saw that scene and you were so not taken out of the movie, it means that I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I got a spoon that didn't make you kind of go like, hey, everybody, do you remember how strong that spoon was? But I also got a spoon that didn't make you go, hey, you remember how weak that spoon was? Because if you would have saw a spoon that didn't feel like it was the right spoon for that, Kevin, you say you wouldn't, but I guarantee you, even if you didn't use the word puny, you would definitely use a word that was similar to the word puny to describe the spoon if it was the wrong spoon. So you can say what you want about the spoon, but if you would have saw weak spoon, you definitely would have noticed the weak spoon.
Listen, sir, I didn't mean to rally you up or anything like that. I was just giving an observation.
I'm so sorry. I get passionate about spoons. It was my life's work.
Yeah, I understand. And that's what I was leading to when you talk about like life's work and everything like that with the spoons. Just hearing your passion is a good thing, you know. I think a lot of people can respect the passion of you and the spoons. Has there ever been a time in your personal life? I know you say you don't take work home, but sometimes you can't escape it, right? Let's say you and your girl, nice little fancy restaurant. You already know you're about to spend at least $200 to $300 at this.
Oh,
food.
okay.
You already know, right?
Oh, okay.
And you're at the table, and you unravel the napkin with the utensils in it.
Okay.
See the spoon, and the spoon is not up to your standards. Has that ever happened, or do you not even worry about it? Like, you know what, they're not even on my level. I'm not gonna pay attention to it. Or do you look at those type of things in the middle of a date, like an important date and stuff?
No, I bring the manager over for sure. If I'm at a fancy restaurant, like if you go to somewhere that is, you know, let's say if I went to Wendy's and I was like, hey, let me get your chili. And then they give me their plastic spoon or whatever. I'm not going to go to Wendy's and go like, this plastic spoon isn't sufficient. You know, that's not going to happen. But if I'm going to a fancy restaurant where I expect them to be just as aware of the quality and the ambiance that they provide, and I get the spoon that doesn't match my meal, oh, for sure, I'm making a big deal about it. I'm bringing over the manager. I'm bringing out the chef. I'm bringing over the waiter. I'm bringing over the maitre d'. Everyone who works there, I'm calling them over to my table, and sometimes people could say it could feel like I'm dressing them down or I'm reprimanding somebody, but I use it as a moment to sort of teach. So therefore, I bring them all to the table and I explain to them why their mistake was so egregious. And then I help them understand how to do better in the future. Right? Hey, you can't have this type of spoon with this type of meal. This is a squash soup. This type of spoon doesn't go with the squash soup. It's too rounded. You want for the squash soup, you want one that's more triangular, not fully triangle, but more triangular, has more of a point to it. So therefore, when you put it into your mouth, it more sits on your palate as opposed to sort of having to open your mouth wide. I could talk all day about spoons. Sometimes people hear me talk and then they kind of just glaze over because truly they don't understand the intricacies. But I can tell you this, if something is wrong, even if you don't understand what's wrong, you understand that something is wrong. And I just try to make sure that no one ever realizes what's wrong because the spoon fits so perfect.
Yeah. How many relationships have you lost because of these specific situations?
Every single one I've been
All
in.
right. Figured. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Well, but you know, to me, it's important because if I'm going to spend the rest of my life with somebody, you know, I'm not saying that they have to be as passionate about the things I'm passionate about, but there has to be a level of respect. If you don't have that level of respect, then how can I respect our relationship?
Gotcha.
Right. So I'm always going to be on the hunt. I'm always going to be looking out for, you know, all right, well, if you're not giving me what I need, who's going to give me what I need? So it's like you as my partner are making me cheat. You as my partner are making me go outside of the bounds of our relationship because you don't respect what I do.
So I just want to be clear for those listening. Are you saying that you could justify cheating if your significant other doesn't respect your love of spoons?
I mean, when you put it like that, it sounds so black and white, so cut and dry, so just 100%. That's what it is. And there's definitely some intricacies there. But I will say that have I cheated in the past because I felt that my partner wasn't supporting me in a way that I needed to be supported? And was that thing related to my feelings on spoons and their feelings on spoons? Sure.
So that was a very great and long way to say yes, but I appreciate it. I appreciate, you know, saying the explanation and the justification of your actions. You know, so it shows me that you are mature. May not be the smartest in a certain situation, but you're mature. You are a mature person, and I appreciate
cheating is wrong, but at the same time, you can understand why somebody did something.
Yes.
Two things can be right at the same time,
Yes,
even
they
when
can.
one thing is wrong of the rights.
Mm-hmm. I like that. It justified a lot of my cheating right there. I appreciate you. You telling me that. I feel good now. I feel good now.
Yeah, yes. A fellow hurt man. I see. Yes.
I've been hurt plenty of times.
We've been hurt.
So when it comes to like on set, we talked about the kid having the spoon and everything like that. How was Keanu because in that scene, I believe he grabbed the spoon as well and started using it and everything like that. Did he give any or did he mention anything about that scene and how good that spoon was or anything?
I remember one time when he first picked up the spoon, he picked it up and he went, "Whoa, hefty spoon." And that got everybody laughing because it was kind of a hefty spoon, but it had to be. But I guess he was thinking of like, this is going to be some light, rinky dink spoon. He picked it up and was like, "Whoa, hefty spoon."
Okay. Yeah, he did it in his Keanu voice.
Yeah, we all got a little kick out of that. It was to the point where I even started kind of using that like a drop for my business. Mm-hmm. Like, "Whoa, hefty spoon." When I started like trying to promote myself more and promote my business more.
Yeah, I feel like something that probably the company Hefty might have an issue with, but I mean, if it works,
well, yeah. It works. But if you use the whole thing, it encompasses a whole thing. It's not just like hefty spoon, as in like the company. It's more like, oh, this is just a whole phrase to describe what this person does.
Gotcha. So another question for you. I was at a Thanksgiving last year, mm-hmm. and my aunt had made some sweet potato pie.
Okay.
And normally, the person that eating the sweet potato pie would use a fork to, right. slice it and eat the sweet potato pie.
Right. That feels normal to me.
Yeah. But this particular moment, she added a dollop of vanilla ice cream, French vanilla ice cream on top. So now I'm in a dilemma. Do I continue to use the fork or do I grab a spoon to eat this meal? Because now I don't know what to do in this situation, right? What would you have done in that situation?
Yeah, I understand your conundrum, considering the fact that for the most part, ice cream, spoon, mm-hmm. soup, spoon, cereal, spoon, mm-hmm. right? But if you add that stuff to something that traditionally is fork, so salad, fork, mm-hmm. pie, fork, cake, fork, mm-hmm. but now you're mixing worlds.
Yeah.
You're mixing genres.
Yeah.
You're mixing food groups. Mm-hmm. And, ultimately the rule of thumb that I go by for myself is which of the food group is the most dominant, right?
Dominant as in on the plate or dominant as what you like more?
The dominant on the plate.
Okay, gotcha.
So if the dollop was bigger than the slice of sweet potato pie, then you probably got to go spoon. But if the sweet potato pie is sort of engulfing the ice cream, you got to go for it.
Gotcha.
But you got to eat it fast, because otherwise, how you going to be getting up that ice cream juice with a fork?
Yeah, at all. Yeah, So I appreciate it, because I sat there for at least 5 minutes and then the ice cream melted, because I was like, I don't know which one to use.
Yeah, because now in that scenario, you got to go spoon.
Yeah, exactly.
You gave before the melt. Now you got to go spoon.
Get it? I get it completely. Random question here.
Okay.
Sporks. Does that piss you off, or are you okay with that?
Honestly, I just think, over time, I've had to move forward with the times. It's just some things that I, just didn't understand offhand. Uh-huh. And as you continue to grow with this life, things change. And so when I first saw a spork, I definitely thought it was a travesty. I thought it was one of those kind of flash in the pan things that was going to die down soon, because you're almost like, this doesn't make any sense. But it's definitely now stuck around in a way that I've had to accept that it just exists. Truly, what brought me around to that was, I was watching something with one of my estranged sons, and it was, I think it was Toy Story 4.
Ooh, with the spork. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and that sort of humanized it in a way that made me understand that sporks deserve their place as well.
Yep.
And I'm being too discriminatory on sporks in a way that is unfair to them.
Yeah, this is crazy that you even brought that up, because I'm actually a writer. I write screenplays and stuff, and I have an idea, and I would actually need your help in this. And it's so crazy that you brought this up, because it's an animated film.
Oh, okay.
What I would need is for you to design spoons based on family characteristics, right? So the name of the movie is called Dinner's Canceled. And it's about a fork and a spoon. They want to be at the dinner table together, but they can't because their family of forks don't rock with the family of spoons.
I mean, well, you came to the right place. And this, I got to tell you right now, this sounds very groundbreaking. I think this piece that you're working on can definitely change the whole landscape and the way that people think about interracial relationships.
Yep.
And just, relationships where, one family doesn't really support a family member's choice of partner, whatever they might be.
Yeah.
So I got a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
So are the forks and spoons different colors from each other?
They can be. I just feel the fork and the spoon was different. But at the end of the day, we're all utensils.
Yeah, this is true. But so first off, what I would do is I would definitely get, let's say, if the fork family, so the fork family is the one that doesn't approve of the spoon.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would definitely say this one, the fork family, get like a stainless steel. As a matter of fact, not even a stainless steel. Maybe a stainless steel, but not with the matte finish, but more of a polish. So the ones that sort of look reflective, and that would be them. So the reflectiveness, it would kind of feel like, oh, okay, it's conveying royalty. It's conveying sort of the white patriarchy, or I don't know, depending on who is in interrelationship, who is not being accepted. And then for the forks, I would go onyx style, like a black finish, or even like a darker finish, or just something that conveys that, hey, it's not only the fact that these are forks and spoons, they're different, but it's also look at the color difference.
Yeah. This is great, man. And I hope it was okay for me to bring that up. Listen,
I'm never going to be upset when somebody's trying to offer me work. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
And definitely for sure, we can get some mocap going for these forks and spoons. You just put the balls on those things and get them moving, so to get a good feel for it.
I like it.
Get an idea of like what we want to do.
God damn it, Ronnie. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. I want to thank you for joining me today and being just a great person. You know what I'm saying? Overall, so I want to appreciate you for coming on this podcast today.
I appreciate you saying that. Not many people actually say that I'm a great person because they, rather they feel that I'm not a great person because I cheated on them, or, I owe them money and I dodge them all the time. Like things that stereotypically you would say makes not a great person. Yeah. But I think even under all the sort of, troubles that troubles that a person goes through.
You okay?
Sorry. Yeah. No, I'm good. It's just, I just had such a difficult life fighting all these demons that people are putting upon me, that I feel like sometimes because, I fall a victim to the demons sometimes, that people, they don't show grace. They just say like, well, that's because that's just you. And it's like, it's not me. I'm fighting, and and sometimes it's a losing battle, but I'm fighting,
Yeah.
So thank you for saying those kind words. It's really going to keep me going.
Yeah. I'm glad, for my viewers, please know that I don't necessarily condone.
Thank you for your support, Kevin.
You're welcome. This has been another interview portion of the Novelizers. I have been Kevin Carter. You guys take it easy.
Wow. I never knew there was so much I didn't know about spoons. Thank you both for that enlightening conversation. And thanks to this week's contributors, Josh Comers, Robert Smigel, and Ronnie Adrian. Stephen, unplug us from this matrix.
Sure thing. The Novelizers is produced by me, Stephen Levinson, with Graham Douglas, Kevin Carter, Christine Bowen, Dennis DeClaudio, Rob Kuttner, and Suchatis Bokil. Music by Cole Emhoff. Graphic design by Crystal Dennis. Theme song by Andrew Lynn, performed by Knots. Reprise, performed by Paige Beller. Special thanks to Chris Karwowski and WYSO Radio in Yellow Springs, Ohio. The Novelizers is a work of parody unauthorized by Warner Brothers. Follow the Novelizers on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and TikTok, and please donate to our Patreon. Copyright 2024, Novelizers, LLC.
There was a matrix made of computers. There was a guy who could dodge all the bullets. He lived in fluid, just like a fetus. But he was born again like baby Jesus. Novelize that movie, write a book, and also read it too.